Here's our next artwork. This is a mausoleum. The Mausoleum of Santa Costanza, which is also located in Rome. Now, I've given you the term mausoleum. Mausoleum is a elaborate or stately tomb or burial place. Typically a central plan, meaning circular, and typically has a dome over the structure. We are looking here at the Christian mausoleum of Santa Costanza. But before we get to it, I want to remind you, the term mausoleum, I'm introducing it here with Santa Costanza in the early Christian period, but it is not limited to. In fact, there were many, a lot, insane amount of mausoleums that we just did not look at in this class. But I'm introducing you to the term here in the early Christian mausoleum of Santa Costanza. Who is Santa Costanza? Well, Santa means saint. Costanza, this is the elaborate burial of Constantine's daughter, Costanza. And here is an aerial view to help us see that central plan, that circular plan, and the dome over the top. Dome over the top, you see that? So a mausoleum is built as a memorial. It's not a place of worship to any god or goddess. It is a specific burial for an individual or more typically a large family. It is not like a basilica in function. It is not like a basilica in appearance. It is not a basilica. It is not a church. It is not a church. It is not a church. Okay? Here is the inside of Santa Costanza. So now we're standing in that circular building and looking into the central covered dome. Did you see that? Did you see those are the windows, the clerestory windows that line the dome? It was built as a mausoleum to Costanza, or her Latin name, Constantina. And her sarcophagus would have been inside. So we have a central circular building, very similar to the Pantheon, but not, because the Pantheon was a temple to all the gods. This is not a temple. This is not a church. We're standing in the just outside of the central dome, and the dome is held up or supported by these double row of columns, and the columns are capitalized with elaborate Corinthian columns. Why am I gasping? I don't know. It shouldn't be a surprise. Corinthian columns, this is a Roman world, so we're going to have the use of Roman architectural language. So we have these Corinthian columns, double row, circling underneath or holding up the dome. And then, let me continue. The outer circle is called an ambulatory. So that's your next vocabulary term, ambulatory. A ring-like barrel vault corridor separating an interior from an altar or sacred space. Now I wish we were in class together, because I love the word ambulatory and I love to demonstrate it for you. Ambulatory, it is this donut shape around a central space. It is a way of allowing for movement around a sacred space without walking through a sacred space. So here in the mausoleum, her sarcophagus would have been placed in the center, and then rather than walking through this sacred space where her sarcophagus is laid, we would ambulatory, get it? Amble around. So amble, to walk around, ambulatory. The ambulatory of Santa Costanza is covered by a barrel vault. Remember? Barrel vault, a rounded vault. So a round, half-rounded ceiling that goes all the way around. And it's a way to mark the sacred space, and then you don't walk through it. You amble around it. Do you want to look at the inside of the barrel vault? Here it is. Ooh, yes. So the central plan of the mausoleum allows for this amazing display of vaulting, which is decorated in mosaic. Now, I want you to use your imagination with this Roman mosaic. Remember, they are Roman. This is all Roman in terms of a culture. And the Roman mosaic tile that we see decorating here, all of the Roman mosaic tiles that we've been missing, like in the Colosseum, imagine that here as well. The mosaic tiles on Santa Sabina that are no longer there, imagine a similar kind of opulent display of shapes and colors, and it would be overwhelming and majestic. And thankfully, we still have it here at Santa Costanza. So we see these scenes or these sections or panels of design, and they go all the way around the ambulatory. Got it, got it. Let's look up at one of them. So here we are looking at the vault, right, which is the ceiling mosaic in the ambulatory of Santa Costanza. This specific portion of the vault gets a lot of attention because of what we believe is being depicted here. We see, here, let me zoom in a little bit more. There you go. So you see that we're looking at this portion here. In the center, we have what we believe to be a portrait of Costanza, Constantina, and then she's surrounded by these leaves, vines, not just any leaves or vines. These are grape vines, and they stretch up and around and they twist. You can see the grapes being enjoyed by some of these birds. And then look at these blue figures here. What on earth? What are they doing? They're picking the grapes, they're harvesting the grapes, and then they're smashing the grapes. They're making wine. Okay, so we're seeing a grape harvest here. Well, there's a lot happening in this scene. First, you might think, well, yeah, there's Costanza, she's here, this is her mausoleum. But what's the significance of the grapes? I mean, they could have been anything. If it's about a harvest, then you could have done any of these fruited plants, right? But grapes. We've seen grapes. Dionysus, Bacchus, the god of wine. He has a wreath of grapes. Women in the Roman world were known to be favorable to or followers of Bacchus, Dionysus, the god of wine, because of his connection to fertility and rebirth. Here we have Costanza, a Roman woman surrounded by grape leaves. So we can parallel this with other non-Christian Roman women and the worship of Dionysus. We see the harvesting, the creating of wine, which is like the god of wine, but to bring it back to the Christian world, wine in Christian worship is used as a symbol of the blood of Christ that was spilt, that was sacrificed. So here we can play on two playing fields. Costanza as a Roman woman, always or very often associated with Dionysus and Bacchus, god of wine, fertility, and rebirth. Costanza as a Christian, and the Christian symbol of the blood of Christ, the sacrifice of Christ, and rebirth. So we see this beautiful play or parallel of visual imagery from from Roman and this overlay of a Christian interpretation. This, or symbolism. Whew, it's complicated, right? I know. Okay, let's look at another mausoleum of another powerful Roman woman.